Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, clearing San Juan City streets now in full swing.
Kailangan natin na isipin ang lahat ng bawat paraan para tumugon sa problema ng trapiko at parking dito sa San Juan at sa buong Metro Manila.
Finding ways to remove road obstructions to meet the government's 60-day deadline.
What's nice about San Juan really is about they're thinking out of the box.
Addressing the almost $1 billion city debt.
Kahit hindi namin utang ito, ay gagawa namin ng paraan para unti-unting mabayaran sapagkat ito ay utang ng mamamayan ng San Juan.
And keeping track of his campaign promise to make makabagong San Juan a reality.
Ayos, mas maunlad, mas progresibo, at makabagong dakilang lungsod ng San Juan.
San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. Road clearing operations are underway in San Juan City to comply with President Rodrigo Duterte's order to remove public road obstructions. The Department of Interior and Local Government, or DILG, gives LGU 60 days to carry out the President's order. San Juan City bans pay parking on its major streets to ease traffic within the city. Also, a check on the other campaign promises made by its new leadership. Let's go straight to the source of this story. We have San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Mayor, good to see you again. Welcome back to the show.
Good to see you again and thanks for having me.
You're super welcome, sir. You know, yesterday we had Undersecretary Malaya and we were talking about the clearing operations, and speaking to him, it was obvious he was pleased with what you're doing so far. But I want to find out from you, is it difficult to reclaim all public roads?
Well, it's also nice that the President himself issued the directive during the SONA. So this gives us a lot of legal basis. And after that, the DILG released Memorandum Circular 121, directing all LGUs, specifically the mayors, to clear all road obstructions within 60 days. And if we are not able to do this, we will be suspended. So actually, this is what's making all the mayors nationwide move, because the directive is coming from the President himself. But let me share, prior to the SONA, I issued the Executive Order number 4.
Naunahan mo na yung sa pay parking, di ba? Yeah.
So I issued Executive Order number 4, removing the pay parking specifically in the Greenhill Shopping Center area, in the roads of Club Filipino Avenue, Annapolis, Missouri, and Connecticut. That's why during the SONA, when the President announced this, I was happy because his trust was in line with ours in San Juan.
It actually negates what you did, because true, I do remember that even before the President's State of the Nation address, tinanggal mo na yung pay parking, and you were already saying that you would lose about 2.5 million a month on pay parking. And why? Meron namang ibang parking areas. So, ginawa mo na yon, obviously, to well, obviously not to make them park. And then you have the President already saying you need to clear all these roads now of any cars. So again, it makes your job, I guess, easier. However, there was an instance, sir, I think you were with MMDA Chairman Danny Lim, and there was an attorney who kind of confronted you and the MMDA Chairman. Well, he does have a point, though, if I try to recall what he said, that he was parking outside his building. And he said that the administrator of the building makes him pay 5,000 pesos to be able to park there.
Yes.
So sino nga naman ang susundin niya at nagbayad na siya ng buwana na 5,000?
We already coordinate with the building heads. In fact, that particular building was charging parking, but it's within the sidewalk of San Juan. So what they're going to do now is they're going to push the parking inwards towards their building. So that it will not be construed as sidewalk parking anymore.
So it becomes what? Private property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because other buildings within the Annapolis area have parking within their building, but not within the sidewalk.
Right.
So this particular instance was a car parked along the sidewalk, but the building was charging fees for this.
Para mag-park sa sidewalk.
Para mag-park sa sidewalk. Well, before the issuance of Executive Order Number 7, cars were really allowed to park in the streets. So, since...
But that should go to the local government, the revenues of that,
no,
right?
that particular parking is not a City Hall controlled parking area.
I see.
This is a parking area of the building itself. So they can charge parking for as long as it's within the perimeter of the building. But that particular vehicle was actually parked on the sidewalk, which the building was charging parking for.
Which makes me question that, sir, because if any car is parked on a road, how does that become the property of the building owner? It becomes the property supposed to be of the city, is it not?
Yes, but that's why if buildings have their own parking within the footprint of their building,
Correct.
and not within the sidewalk,
Yeah.
that becomes theirs.
Which is obvious when we see a store, dapat yung medyo papasok ka ng gano'n. Yung
Yes.
papasok ka. So, here's a question. Have they spoken to you? Kinausap na ho ba kayo at sinabi medyo mahihirapan sila? Because now, that parking on Annapolis, Acropolis, Club Filipino, syempre mahihirapan na yung mga customers now. They would have to park elsewhere, quite far away.
No, actually,
What were their concerns?
Within the area of the Greener Shopping Center, you have 4,000 parking slots within 8 parking facilities. And outside in the streets where we used to have pay parking, there are only around 300 parking slots.
Really?
So you can imagine 300 cars blocking thousands of motorists daily, all these years, simply because you generate income. So I made a decision to let go of around up to 2.5 million pesos a month in revenue. But what do you get in return? You get a better flow of traffic.
Yeah.
You don't spend time and gas uselessly, and less stress for everyone. And you have parking options within the shopping center. Those are 4,000 parking slots you can choose from, 8 parking facilities, and one of them is actually 24 hours.
And of course, the mayor will not be suspended as well. And sir, yung sa 4,000 parking slots na yon, is that owned privately or is that the local governments as well?
That's owned privately by the Greener Shopping Center.
Okay.
But what people used to pay outside for the street parking is the same amount that they will pay inside for the parking
Yeah, I
facilities.
was wondering about that. Baka naman sobrang mahal inside at
Pareho
kawawa
lang.
naman yung...
Pareho lang. In fact, all of these parking facilities have been available ever since. It's just that when the former administration allowed parking on the streets, people would find it more convenient.
Absolutely.
However, what's happening is they're blocking the road because the streets I mentioned, Club Filipino Avenue, Annapolis, Missouri, and Connecticut, these are only 2-lane roads. And half of the road is already blocked by street parking.
Yeah.
So you only have 1 lane left.
Okay, so it makes your job a little easier because the president ordered this. You made the rounds. Just questions, especially for those who live in San Juan, I guess, would be probably the Savior area. Anong bang mangyayari doon? Because you went around with Yusek Malaya the other day, and we saw the road, sir. And I know that in the memorandum circular of the DILG 2019-121, it says clear it and repair it, paint it, and put street signs on it. So let's look at this area. I think this is the Savior area, and obviously, sir, hindi siya ayos, but at least meron na nagpipintura.
Yes. In the Savior area, the city government used to charge street parking. So all around the perimeter of Savior and Ika, you would see cars parked. What would happen was when parents or drivers bring their kids to school, they end up parking in the street, waiting the whole day until the children go home. So what happens is, again, just like in the Greener Shopping Center, the road networks, half of the road actually becomes parking already.
Yeah.
So the cars can only pass through 1 lane again. So given the fact that the directive of the president is to remove street parking, the city government cannot continue to charge for street parking. And that is what we put in Executive Order Number 7. All city government pay parking on the street, including those in the barangays, are suspended. Now, what you're seeing now, on the video, these are the streets within the perimeter of Xavier. Now that we have removed street parking, we see that the roads actually need a lot of rehabilitation. There's an ongoing DPWH construction there of the roads. Actually, the issue here is San Juan has very small culverts, meaning the network of waterways under the streets, they're very small. So we're now slowly changing them to bigger culverts.
Yeah.
So even if this area does not really experience flooding, the fact is the culverts there are interconnected with the other barangays. So we have to change all the
Domino effect then,
yes, domino effect. So even if the culverts in other barangays are big, but when you reach this portion, they're small, water will not flow freely. So we
Correct.
have to really replace all of these. The intention was to do this rehabilitation last summer when there was no school. But however, the previous administration did not give the permits then. So what happened was the DPWH was forced to do this starting June only. We're rushing it already so that we will feel the full effect of the removal of the parking.
And here's the thing, sir. You also have some solutions, such as converting vacant lots that are owned by the local government unit and possibly turn it into 2 floors or 3 floors, sir, hindi ba?
Yes.
How long will that take? Because you already identified a lot.
Yes, actually, it's not just vacant lots owned by the local government. Both public and private lots can be used for this.
Okay.
So first, we're now making inventory of all available vacant lots of the local government, which we can use first as parking facilities. And we are now encouraging all vacant lot owners to convert their vacant lots into parking facilities also. We can give
Has
them...
anyone heeded that call, sir,
Yes,
from the
actually,
private
we
sector?
are now writing all vacant lot owners through our barangay chairpersons, and we will invite them to a meeting wherein we will inform them that we can, number one, we won't charge them idle land tax anymore because their vacant lots can now be useful. Second, we can give them a tax holiday in terms of business taxes, even up to 5 years, if they use their vacant lots as parking facilities. So it's a win-win situation because it gives us more parking options. At the same time, the vacant lot owners can now have some income with their idle lands.
So before we go on a break, sir, more or less how much is it to construct a parking facility?
What you see now in the Greener Shopping Center area, are either actually also in Cardinal Santos, are modular steel parking facilities. It's not your conventional
That actually scare me.
physical structure, but these are modular. These are basically just assembled. So you can recover your investment quickly because if ever you are a private entity, you have a vacant lot in San Juan, you convert this into a modular parking facility. It'll only take you a few weeks to construct, but given that the President has issued a directive, you now have a market of potential parkers from all over.
All right, we'll be taking a short break. When we come back, San Juan as a smart city. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora. What about vendors?
Okay.
What do you plan to do with them?
We don't have too big a problem in terms of vendors as compared to other cities. We have pockets of areas with vendors. However, given that the Memorandum Circular 121 has already been issued, we've already spoken with them and they have cleared the areas that they used to occupy. And what we're doing now is coordinating with all our barangays and of course with the local government to give them alternative areas for as long as they are not on the road and not on the sidewalks.
So, si barangay na should start to locate places where they can possibly move.
Yes.
And are you giving them a deadline, sir?
Actually, within the 60-day period, that's effective July 29, the 60 days has started. But within a week's time, actually, so far so good in San Juan, and the vendors are very cooperative. It's really just a matter of talking to them and explaining to them. All they want is a source of livelihood, and all they want is to be able to sell. And in our part, we will give them that opportunity for as long as it's not within the roads and not within the sidewalks.
Subdivisions. There was talk that you were thinking of possibly opening up subdivisions. Is this true?
Now, I mentioned that only if there will be a directive from the President.
Okay.
So, but for now, the directive really is to
Clear the roads, yeah.
clear
Okay.
the public roads.
What would be the biggest challenge? I know, because the thing with San Juan is possibly, sir, I'm surmising that your problem may not be as big as Quezon City. Hindi ho ba? Kasi syempre mas maliit naman po kayo. What's the biggest challenge, if any?
Well, San Juan is in the geographic center of Metro Manila. And a lot of the vehicles that pass through us don't really go to San Juan. They just pass through San
Yes.
Juan. So whether you're going to Quezon City, to Manila, to Makati, to Pasig, San Juan is always
Pass
one
through.
of the fastest ways to pass through. We also have a lot of mabuhay lanes
Yeah.
within our city. So this really means that a lot of the vehicles are just passing through our roads. And removing the street parking in mabuhay lanes actually was something that should have been done a long time ago. That's why the MMDA was very happy that finally all mabuhay lanes in San Juan are cleared. In fact,
inutos na eh.
MMDA Chairman Daniel Lim himself was with us last Monday, and he was so happy to see that all the mabuhay lanes in San Juan, specifically in Green Hills, are already cleared.
Sabi niya, ganun pala itsura. No? Sir, just very quickly, do you think the 60-day deadline is very doable for you?
In San Juan, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's move to other topics, sir. Smart City, you promised during your guessing, and I'm sure to your constituents as well, that you would have free Wi-Fi
Yes.
in all public places because this is just the beginning of what you call a smart city of
That's
San Juan.
true,
Kamusta
yeah.
na po yung Wi-Fi in all public areas?
There's so much proposals we're receiving now. Actually,
Talaga?
because I've spoken about this in the media and also during the campaign. So right now we are weighing in what the best options are for San Juan. What we want to do is an integrated system wherein the provider will facilitate for the free Wi-Fi, at the same time a command center, a San Juan City app,
Yes.
CCTVs in all the streets. So we have to have one system only, because if you have several service providers handling different aspects of the smart city, if, for instance, if the internet goes down, they will all point to each other, then claim that it's the other service provider that's in fault. So what we're looking at is a holistic approach for this. In fact, we're also waiting for the DICT. Senator Honasan and I have been coordinating closely.
Yeah.
So we will see how we can incorporate the DICT within the city government's Smart City program. But this is something that we are already planning to do. But we're not rushing it because there's a lot of available technology
Okay,
now.
that's fair. You don't want to rush it. But do you have a deadline with possibly, sir, please correct me if I'm wrong, could be one of the easiest campaign promises that you can fulfill, which is free Wi-Fi in every area?
Yes. Actually, within the first 100 days, we should have our areas already, but not yet all. So the key areas first, of course, City Hall, our public schools, our government facilities and centers,
Hospitals, yeah.
of course, our hospital, our market. So we will focus on the public areas first.
Okay, and when you talked about the hospital, you also wanted what you call a real public hospital in
Yes,
San Juan. Sir,
that's true.
what are the developments here?
Okay, we are now meeting with possible PPP groups, and we're doing what you call a Swiss challenge. The unsolicited proposals they're submitting, we are comparing.
Meron na, sir?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
actually marami na. PPP groups will come in, they will invest, and they will run, for instance, the dialysis center, which we don't have, a physical rehabilitation center, a modern operating room, all of the needs of the San Juan Medical Center that have not been addressed by the
Yeah.
previous administration. The PPP group can come in without any expense from the local government. So they will invest and they will run it. If you ask how about the charges, will the fees
Tataas mo
increase?
ba?
No, because these are PhilHealth based. So actually using the PhilHealth privileges of our constituents, that's where they will get the payments for these. So it's a win-win situation for us because the the city government will not spend a single peso.
But there are a lot of
Yes.
interested.
Already, yes.
Investors to
But
do
we're
this.
doing the
Okay.
Swiss challenge
Okay.
so that we can know, again,
Yeah.
just like in the smart city, what will be the best option. There's so much available technology, and it's not something that we will immediately sign up with the first group that proposes something to us. But of course, we have set an internal deadline, and
Which is?
which is the first 100 days.
Awesome. Okay, we'll be taking another short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora. Sir, dengue national epidemic. Kamusta po ang cases sa San Juan?
Since January of this year, we've reported 93 cases of dengue. But since July, when I assumed my term, only 8 cases have been reported. So right now we have daily cleanup drives in all our barangays. So the process is we do cleanup drives first, and then we set up OV and larvae traps. So these are traps for the eggs and the larvae. You put them in potential dengue areas where stagnant water
What do you put
is
there?
available.
So, I don't get it, sorry.
It's like a small tabo that has water.
Yeah.
It's black so that it attracts the
Correct.
mosquitoes. The mosquitoes end up going there, and then within 1 week, whatever eggs and larvae are
Hatched.
are trapped within, you sprinkle chemicals to kill them. Yes.
So it's as if you trap them in stagnant water.
You invite them, yes, because it's stagnant water, so they would
That's
want
their
to go
breeding
there.
ground.
Yes.
So in less than 1 week, you pour something that will actually kill
Yes, that's
the
correct.
eggs that were hatched there.
The eggs and then the larvae.
Yeah, I see.
And then after that, we start doing misting. Okay, misting using water-based chemicals, which are approved by the World Health Organization and the DOH. So after the misting, we can do another set of OV trapping and larvae trapping. So this is how you will find out.
How do you do it per barangay, sir?
Through the health workers, so in coordination with our city health office, with our barangay chairpersons and the health workers. In fact, next week, Health Secretary Francisco Duque will be joining us for our cleanup drive, and we will be distributing Oliset nets. If you're familiar with Oliset nets, these are nets that actually have larvicides on the surface. So
Okay.
once the mosquitoes come in contact with the nets, the larvicides kill them already. So it's both
Where'd that
protective.
come from? I think we need that in the whole country, sir.
These are nets from the DOH,
Okay.
which we are distributing in all public schools, and of course to the barangays. We will also coordinate with the private schools for these.
Forgive
So
the ignorance, but where do you put the nets?
in the rooms. Yes.
okay.
So it's basically like parang kulambo.
Yeah, kulambo lang siya, pero
may
papatayin niya yung
dengue
dengue mosquito.
Yung dengue mosquito. Meron siyang larvicide or insecticide doon sa surface niya.
I see. Well, all right. So at least you don't have a problem, too much of a problem with dengue, sir, in San Juan. On our last couple of minutes, sir, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, there are people who closely watch some of the mayors who have made their, winning in the last elections. That would be you, that would be Mayor Vico, that would be Mayor Isko Moreno. Personally, sir, do you feel that it's such a challenge? Nakikipagkompetensya ka ba sa kanila? Let's say, someone like Mayor Isko, every day nasa Facebook, parang di natutulog, di ba? Is this a good thing? Does this inspire you, or how has this actually helped you to do your job as mayor of San Juan?
Well, specifically with Mayor Isko, Manila has far larger problems than San Juan. So we are only 5.94 square kilometers. Manila is so huge. They have millions in population. We only have around 120,000. So you cannot really compare our problems with theirs. You cannot compare our priorities with theirs. So for me, he's doing a good job, then kudos to him. I'm happy for him. But I don't feel I have to compete with him or anyone else, because we all have our own specific, localized, individual problems that we have to solve. For instance, we do not have a divisoria problem in San Juan. So that's not something that I have to worry about. So my problems are more specific to San Juan, such as...
What are your biggest problems,
well,
sir?
of course, like what I said, the improvement of the hospital,
Yeah.
the high-rise in-city public housing, which I'm happy to share also.
Can you please, very quickly, because that's also amazing if it actually happens.
Yes,
Sir.
last week we were with the General Manager, June Escalada. He is the General Manager of the National Housing Authority. He used to be the city administrator of President Duterte when he was mayor. He used to be the planning officer of Davao City also. And he is now the NHA head. And we already agreed that before the end of the year, we will groundbreak our high-rise in-city public housing in San Juan. We've already identified the area where we will build. And with the help of my father, Congressman Zamora, and the NHA, we can actually do this before the year ends. We can start the groundbreaking, and before my term ends, you will already see our high-rise in-city public housing in San Juan.
Completely done?
Yes. Well, the first...
One building at least
the
will be
first
done?
building is already being programmed, possibly 2. So the NHA is already conducting the soil testing in the potential areas for us to know up to what floor we can build, depending on the stability of the soil. But that's something that we already coordinated with the NHA.
Okay. And what is your target before your term ends? How many will be housed?
Oh, well, we're looking at possibly 2 to 3 towers before my term ends. And if we cut each unit at 32 to 36 square meters, then you can just imagine if we will be allowed to go up to 22 stories, and given that the footprint of one building would be around 1,000 square meters, then you can just imagine how many families can actually be housed.
How many are you looking at, more
So
or less?
let's proportion it. If you have a footprint of 1,000 square meters and you have around 32 square meters per floor, let's run the math.
We'll do that when we say goodbye. Maraming salamat kay San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora. Sir, thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank
Maraming
you.
salamat and good luck. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.